I 20 meters bought my girlfriend 18F a Christmas gift and she cried and got upset when she noticed what size I bought. My girlfriend and I were planning on going to look at Christmas lights tonight and go on a little date, and since she doesn't really have winter attire, a coat and gloves, I got one and gifted it to her early tonight. I got a Columbia coat and some nice warm gloves for her and I genuinely thought she would love it. Now don't get me wrong, my girlfriend is not a skinny girl, but she's definitely not fat. She's insecure about her body weight, but she genuinely just carries a lot of it in her biabs, BTT, and thighs. Well, with Columbia sizing, some people were saying the coats run a bit small, and so I took her measurements, and since her B-easts are big, it fell into the 2X range when she's normally a LXL, and the rest of her measurements fell into XL. And she has semi-long fingers, so I ordered XL gloves. She opened the coat and gloves and seemed excited till she noticed how big it looked and looked at the tag and saw that I ordered a 2X. Her face reaction instantly changed and she looked like she wanted to cry. She thanked me and smiled and then went to the bathroom where she tried it on, and it was a bit big on her and began to cry, which I only noticed because I came in. She said it made her look huge and that I think she's fat and has big hands. She's extremely hurt and doesn't want to go out anymore, or wear the coat that I spent far too much money on. What do I do here? I feel bad that it made her feel bad, but I'm also slightly hurt. Is there anything I can do to make this right and not ruin tonight? Edit. We didn't go last night and that's fine because we're going tonight, but the negative comments are getting out of hand. Yes, my girlfriend is insecure in her body. However, that's not a reason for me to leave her, and that suggestion is ridiculous. If she was insecure in our relationship, that'd be different, but she's not. Body dysmorphia is a serious thing. Stop mocking her for crying about it. I'll order a different size and just return whichever she decides fits her best, because the XXL is admittedly baggy on her and she likes form-fitting things so she doesn't look fat. I do think her feelings are still slightly hurt, but we're all good. She told me thank you, no ungratefulness here. Story 2, my ex-girlfriend past her family barely contacts me that she had a baby. There's no doubt her son is 100% mine because we had a paternity test just to be sure. Anyways, I 27 meters barely found this out weeks ago. Only reason we broke up is because I had to move back across the country last year to help my family after my dad died from COVID. Didn't want to do the long distance since I was gonna stay there working for a bit. She never told me anything. Her mom says she didn't want me to worry about her all the way over there when my dad's family needed me more, and she was gonna tell me as soon as I was back. I moved back like a month ago, only now I'm finding out not only that I lost her, they said there was complications when she gave birth, but we have a baby boy. Feeling a mix of stuff, and worst part is I can't talk to her about because I wish she told me. Her mom says they've barely been managing with him. They need help with him, and so that's why she reached out to me once they learned I was back. Of course he's mine, that's my responsibility. Still, it's hard not to panic. I'm still in shock about her death. Now I've got a son I need to take care of. Didn't even get to be part of the first 2 months of his life. My family doesn't know about him yet. Hell, I still haven't met him yet. Her mom's only sent me pics. He's beautiful. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm scared, sad and pissed off for some reason. I'm nervous as duck about meeting him or how this is gonna go. Her parents will be around to help, but I know he'll be with me full time for the most part. Really, any advice I'll really appreciate. From new parents or anyone, honestly. What the hell do I do about all these new changes? Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, I would look into your company's policy on parental leave, then start looking into childcare options such as whether the grandparents can help with that. Congrats on being a parent, condolences on your loss, and you can do it. Redditor 2, 51 meters here. Married, 2 small kids and all that. First, my sincere condolences for the loss of your ex. Second, if you are feeling blown away by this unexpected, shocking set of developments, that is perfectly normal and healthy. You will process this eventually. It just takes time. Definitely look for some counseling at some point to help you process. Maybe even a single parent support group. It usually takes 10-14 days to adapt to a new environment, maybe a little longer, so it won't be instant. Third, babies aren't rocket science. They are a lot of work, but you don't need to be a genius to figure them out. Feed, bathe, clothe, change, hold, and most of all love them all the time. You will learn what kind of cry means feed me versus hold me versus change me. Honestly, 90% of fatherhood is just showing up and being there. You will form a profound loving bond with your son if you spend time with him. Don't worry if you aren't instantly loving him, it actually takes a little time to get there for many people. But you will. In my case, my bond with both of my boys was quickly developed. I fully participated in all parts of their care. Both of them frequently slept tucked under my arm during naps and at night sometimes. My 2-year-old was adopted as a newborn and we bonded right away. Lastly, time to mobilize yourself for action. I don't know what your situation is, but there is going to be an awful lot of paperwork for insurance, healthcare, daycare, custody, and stuff like that. Let your family know as soon as possible because families usually help each other. Usually, you need to get your personal asset together as best you can, if you haven't already. I know this was an extraordinary shock, but you can get through it successfully. It will just take some work. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Redditor follow-up, great advice. And I would add that newborns can cry a lot for many different reasons, and it is 100% perfectly acceptable to put them safely in their crib and let them cry for a few minutes while you collect your thoughts and emotions. With as much as op is going on, I could see a crying baby being very overwhelming. Redditor 3, are you listed on the birth certificate? If you aren't, then not only do you have no responsibilities, you have no rights either. It could be very dangerous for you to take over the care of this child if you are not listed as a parent. Anyway, sounds like a mess, but you can do it. Lots of single moms in the world do it all the time. I don't know where you are located, but there are all kinds of resources for new parents, single parents, etc. One of the best places to start is at the pediatricians. Good luck. Redditor follow-up, I would add that getting a lawyer would be in OP's best interest in order to get custody. Redditor 4, time to get into therapy to process things that happen. Gets books on parenting, parenting classes, use the grandparents of baby for advice. Redditor follow-up, this parenting isn't easy even if you have an easy baby. Therapy helped me so much, just work through all these new frustrations and find ways to work around them if and when they pop up again. Try to find parenting classes and or YouTube the hell out of baby raising. The app Baby Sparks is really helpful too. It's crazy, one day you are just living your life, even if you are pregnant and carrying the baby, then you have this kid like you are supposed to know what the hell to do with them. Lol. I figure our kid is happy, healthy, and alive, so we must be doing something right lol. It's a daily game of winging it lamau. Redditor 5, hi, I'm sorry about your loss, must be tough to hear she passed and at the same time find out you have a son. You mentioned a paternity test, how recent was this test if you haven't spoken to her or seen her in the last year? And how did her parents manage to reach out to you? I think the first step is seeking a support system. It's a lot to process with death in the family, your former partner, and learning about the birth of your child. Do you have any close friends or family? What about reaching out to her friends to see how she was doing during her pregnancy? Might be good to speak to her family more just to have a sense of how she was before her passing, and as a last resort if you're able to seek professional help to assist in managing all your conflicting feelings. I hope you're not thinking of regret or any what ifs. Life is ugly and beautiful at the same time. The best thing is to make sure you're there for your child and be the best person you can be for him. Keep us posted on updates. Redditor 6, I raised my son by myself. His mother is still alive. I think we haven't heard from her in 12 years. She just didn't want him. Being a single dad is hard, but it is worth it. My son is now 24. He graduated from Purdue last year with a computer science degree. I've been a professional artist for 27 years. My son works as a software engineer, but he has also been a professional artist for the last 5 years. He has actually made more this year as an artist than his regular job pays. Get your son, take care of him, no matter what sacrifices you have to make. It will pay off in the end. Encourage him to pursue his interests. I bought him a laptop for his 12th birthday. He and a couple of his friends began teaching themselves programming languages and creative things like 3D modeled illustration and stop motion animation. I gave him one of my professional digital SLR cameras to use for that. When he began high school, I surprised him with almost $2,000 to buy components to build a high-end desktop computer. He'd wanted to build his own computer for a while, but money had been tight. By the time he graduated from high school, he had been offered a full academic scholarship to study at Purdue. While he was in school, his 3D illustrations of spacecraft began attracting attention from aerospace companies and he began doing them professionally. I had a stroke when my son was in school. I've had serious health issues all of my life, and was only 37 when that happened. I didn't want him working while he was studying, so I sold off most of my photo equipment to keep the bills paid. I'm 45 now and still in poor health. When Mac graduated and found his job, he told me to retire from doing commercial photography and just do my fine art photography. He bought a house for us and takes care of my needs. I'm gradually rebuilding my collection of cameras and lenses I had to sell. He's making over $100,000 a year at 24. Sad thing is that his mother has no idea what a wonderful young man he's grown to be. Your situation is different since your son's mother died, but your son needs you. A father is the most important person in a young man's life. Before I had the stroke, I had been a high school teacher for a short time. Any teacher can tell you that having a father is the single most important factor in whether a boy does well in life or not. It's more important than how much money the family has, or anything else. I had a number of boys in my classes being raised by their fathers alone, and all of them have done well. All have good incomes, several went to college, and one is working for his dad's construction company which dad intends to give his son when he retires. Redditor 7, I'm so sorry. Congrats on your son and being a new dad, but also I'm so sorry for your losses, your dad and ex-GF. I can't imagine what you're going through. Answer, it's been a lot. Barely have gotten by accepting my dad's death, and now here we are. We might have been broken up, but it was always with a chance of getting back together when I got back. It's crushed me. Then with all this our son. He's so beautiful and I wish I was there from the beginning so at least maybe there was some time to process and get ready for it.